Okay, here we go. All right, so we let us pray. Surely I am being turned to thee, O Allah, being upright to he who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for Allah, the Lord of the world. No associate as he in this of my commandment. I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the king, and there is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I confess my fault. So grant me protection against my false, Allah, for none grants protection against false except thee. And turn away from me the evil and indecent morals, for none can turn from me the evil and indecent morals but thee. But guide me, O Allah, to the best of morals, for none guides to the best of morals but thee. O Allah, bless Muhammad and the followers of Muhammad as thou didst bless Abraham and the followers of Abraham. And make Muhammad and the followers of Muhammad successful as thou didst make Abraham and the followers of Abraham successful. For surely thou art praised and magnified in thy midst. O Allah, we beseech your aid, guidance, and protection. We seek refuge in thee from the accursed Satan. We seek refuge in thee from the reactive mind. And we invoke your spirit, your presence, your reality onto this session this morning. Bless us, Allah, to extract the essence of the Quran, your intentions for the Quran. Bless all of the participants and all of those who we come into contact with. Thank you for your servants, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. In their names we do pray. Ameen. All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praises due to Allah. We bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Father Muhammad, and that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant, the exalted Christ, and the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan is the Messiah in our midst. And I'd like to just greet you once again in the nation greetings of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Welcome, brothers and sisters, to our first edition of the Ramadan Dynetics parsing. I'm really excited about getting started here. I'm excited about having my brother Lukman here to to bat any stray balls back into play.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
And happy to have all of you on this morning. And we gonna I know brother Lukman will bear witness with me. 1 hour, that ain't nothing for us. We just get warmed up at our so we're gonna try to go through this thing as quickly as possible. I would say as succinctly as possible. Where you got a good mixture of speed and quality. And so we know that we're not going to be able to cover everything, at least, and I'm saying from my perspective. I'll let Brother Lukman speak for himself. But, we're not going to cover everything, in the Quran. I mean, it's just like the technology, just like Mr. Hubbard say, man, you ain't going to get all of this, but get what you can. Get what works for you, you see? And so, because I read the Quran, man. I'm reading the Quran, man. Sometimes, man, that stuff is I may well be reading Japanese sometimes when I read. And that was one thing that I said I was gonna. All right. Yeah, that was something that I was reading earlier this morning. And the Quran, some of the translation, it was like a double, triple negative. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do what I'm not gonna do, or so. It was something like that, and I was like, man, good God Almighty, And so the thing is that I've never read the Quran all the way through. And I suspect you too never read it all the way through and understood every, every sentence or every verse. I mean, some things is just hard to connect, but now that's just me. Um, and so I just try to deal with what is apparent and go from there. And I don't think all of the different what I have done is I have selected several verses which I know, like my grandmama used to say, I know good and well that we're not gonna cover all of these verses here today, but it'll at least give us some a couple of references, and then what we may want to do, and I think I will. I was handwriting them. I will put it in an electronic, or even take a picture, but maybe type it up. So the things that we don't cover, maybe you can take a look, and if you would like to ask a question that we can answer later, we will. But what we're trying to do, and I'll try to get to it real quickly, is to go over the reading for today. We were on part 2 of the Quran today. So we want to focus on part 2. Now, when we get to the end of Ramadan, when we move into our next cycle of time in STW, we had been, Brother Luqman, we had been parsing every word of Al-Fatiha. And we were about to bring it all together. And so when we do that, then I would like for you to give your presentation on the Al-Fatiha at that particular time.
Yes, sir.
So, all right, so let's dive on in. All right, part 2 of the Quran. We're starting with wait a minute, Batin. Sometimes I feel like I'm getting old, brother. Okay, we started.
It beats the alternative, brother.
Absolutely. The part 2, you've got verse number 151. And Lord knows I am so unorganized this today. Please forgive me, y'all. Because we're trying to get everything together, and just 151, it says, even as we have sent among you a messenger from among you who recites to you our messages and purifies you and teaches you the book and the wisdom and teaches you that which you did not know. All right, so there's a couple of things that I noticed in that particular ayat. Well, first of all, it says that a messenger who recites to you our messages and purifies you and teaches you the book and the wisdom. And so I just thought it was really, really interesting when he was talking about purify. See, if he's going to purify us, in order to purify something, then you have to be aware of that which is impure within yourself. Okay. And then he says it teaches you the book and the wisdom. And so what we have in the Quran is the book, but it's not the wisdom. See, some people look at it as being the wisdom, but it is not the wisdom, according to Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan. And so when we start looking at wisdom, and when we start breaking down the word wisdom, then we have some very interesting things, as has been our mantra here in STW, that the wisdom is like concentrated knowledge. It's like concentrated knowledge. Wisdom is the knowledge, the level of knowledge that allows you to evaluate other knowledge. And this is one reason why we were given supreme wisdom. We were not given supreme understanding, because actually the understanding changes. Understanding changes with the universe. The universe is changing. The old jazz standard, everything must change. So if something changes, then your understanding of it has to change too, along with it. So and it says, and it teaches you that which you did not know. And that is part of the thing that we are dealing with here with STW, is that we hear oftentimes things that we did not know before. We haven't heard the minister teach it exactly the way it's been taught. However, as the scripture said, my sheep know my voice. And we know that even if we may not have heard the minister say it verbatim, that it is, I guarantee you, that it is based on something that the minister said. You see? All right. Okay. So any comments or anything of that? You got anything, brother Lukeman, on that?
Well, right when you mention the verse, the first thing that I do is I look for little key words in the verse, and then look at those words in the actual Arabic. And then once I clear that word, I try to see if there's a connection between something that we've already learned in the Dianetics. So that word you had mentioned, purify, that's like a key to unlock something. So in the Arabic, that word means to thrive, to grow, to make upright, or to increase. So the word purification in the Arabic would equate to case gain in Dianetics.
Okay.
So if we say, and we have sent among you a messenger from among you who recites your messages and purifies you and teaches you the book and the wisdom. It's almost like saying, before you can really get into the nuts and bolts or the higher understanding of the book and the wisdom, purification has to come first. So it's like purification is a prerequisite. It's almost like in Dianetics, the purif is a prerequisite before you start to go up the bridge towards clear.
That's right.
So the purification has to come first. So what do you mean the purification comes before the book and the wisdom? Well, it says you have to grow, you have to become upright. Your mind has to be in a certain way in order to extract. It's like when you talk to someone, you have to be on equal tone. So if you're low tone, then you can't understand high tone concepts. Minister said, God said that my ways are above and your ways are below. If our thoughts are down here, then we can't really crack the wisdom of the Holy. Allah won't show us that if our mind is not in a certain space, perhaps.
Yes, sir.
That's what I saw.
That excellent point. And see, that was one of the things that had kind of snagged me when you start talking about purification. You're talking about pure, see, and so like I have a certain way that I like to clear those words too, and some of it I discovered that I am somewhat of a wordsmith. I don't know how I got to that point. Coach, there are some hints in closing the gap that my wife had pointed out to me. Because see, the thing is that your understanding of words actually comes from your personality. It comes from the composite experiences that you have had, you know. And but anyway, pure, when you start talking about pure, just like the drug in the drug world, when somebody want to get some drugs, you know, or sell some drugs, they get the pure drugs, and then they start cutting it down and all that other kind of stuff. So everything that is pure is more valuable.
Mm-hmm.
It has, pure means that it, nothing has been added to it, nothing has been taken away from it, which gets us back to what we say about being holy, you know, in the Nation of Islam vernacular. So you got uh uh something that, in other words, to be purified, that means you're removing the impediments
Mm-hmm.
in our mind. We're removing certain impediments. We're removing things that may keep us from being in our optimal condition, you know, or reality. All right, so we'll move on kind of quickly because I got a lot of, and I don't know how much you got, but but we got a lot of road, we got a lot to cover here.
I
All
actually
right.
got, there was one ayat that I chewed on, and then I moved to the next one, and there was so much in this other ayat. I've just been studying this one ayat for like the past 30 to 45 minutes, so I haven't even get a chance to finish section 2 yet.
I believe me, brother, I do understand. And I was thinking when I was up this morning, doing my reading, and I was saying, man, this is so cool. Because see, now I'm reading for the first time. It's not really for the first time, but this time around, I'm reading it. My attention is on a different level because I have you know, you got attention and you got intention. So because my intent now is to extract these aspects that connect us conceptually to the infrastructure that Allah have created called universe, you see. And so it's a beautiful thing. He says that 152, therefore glorify me, and I will make you eminent, and give thanks to me, and be not ungrateful to me. So actually, that's part of the purification process, because glorifying Allah is a way of communicating with the reality of Allah. When we glorify him, then we put him in his proper place. If he's put in his proper place, we are able to appreciate him more and see him as he is. See, a lot of times, a lot of people might have little problems. Allah said, glorify me. You know, it's almost like we imagine a man saying that. You know, and the average man, if he said that, glorify me, well, you say, man, this guy is just full of himself. But see, but the actuality is that he is all, like what we say, he is all of that and a bag of chips.
And a bag of chips.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's cheap slang. But anyway, forgive me. but what I'm saying, Allah, it says nothing, no one deserves to be worshiped. See, to glorify something, what does that mean? See, these are words we need to be writing down too, and discovering the families that they belong to. You know, to glorify, wholly glorify, glory is Allah. Glory to my Lord the great, glory to my Lord the most high. You know, to glorify something is to kind of, one of the words is to focus on the higher qualities of something. I remember they used to say when I first came into the nation, they was talking about a woman's hair. He said a woman's hair is her glory. You know, that is the beautiful, you know what I mean? That is the beautiful, that is the attractive aspect of her being. Okay. So glorify Allah. See his best qualities, best attributes. He said, and I will make you eminent. So when you begin to focus on these higher aspects, see the higher aspects are stronger than the lower aspects, you know, and they take prominence in your mind. And it said it will make you eminent. And then that's another word there that probably can be if you can put that definition in the chat, Belinda, that would be nice, darling.
I have it as well known and respected, Brother Barteen, eminent.
What is that now?
Well known and respect.
Okay, all right, very good. And it said, and give thanks to me, and be not ungrateful to me. See, give thanks and be not ungrateful. See, so when you say thanks, see, when you say give thanks, then that means to verbalize. Thank you, Allah. And then be not ungrateful. Well, then that's an attitude, you know. And so the thing is that when you thank Allah, then you are communicating with Allah. You are acknowledging. And see, there's a thing in the technology that tells us that when you communicate, that means when you intend to send a message, to exchange something within you with a recipient, then the natural process of things is that that particular person would acknowledge that you sent the message, you know. And that's one reason why we say that when someone gives you the greeting, that you are required by Islam to give them a like or better greeting, because you acknowledge someone communicates to you, and then your nature wants to hear some type of acknowledgement. Because why? You don't just go out talking and saying stuff to people for no reason. You saying something because you're trying to get that person's attention. See, all right. So you intend to get their attention, and so maybe one day we'll go over that formula, which is the formula of communication. All right. So then when you go to
brother, could I add to that real quick?
Absolutely, brother. Go ahead.
Now, when you take that word eminent in the ayat that you just read, see, you were just describing communication and acknowledgement, right?
Right.
Now, where does that take place in Dianetics? Communication and acknowledgement.
In the auditing.
In the auditing, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying something and the person says, thank you.
Right.
So you have a give and take. Okay, now watch this. The Arabic word for eminent is thicker. And the word thicker means to recall, to increase memory, or to help memory, but it also means to remember, to account, or to recollect. Go back to the beginning and go over it again.
Right.
Pick whatever additional data, take into account, to remember. So to become eminent, the word in Arabic aligns with Dianetics. It means to remember.
Yes, sir.
Spell that word, please.
Go ahead.
Thicker.
Some people call it zicker.
Thickering, right? Thickering.
Yeah. You put the tongue up to the roof of the mouth.
Right.
Thicker.
Okay. So how do you spell it again?
DHIKR.
That's right.
So it's like this. We could say Because Allah says in the Holy Quran, these verses have many connections. His wisdom is living, so we can't nail down just one.
That's right. That's right.
So in the Arabic, to make eminent, it's almost like if we glorify Allah, then he'll increase our memory. And according to Dianetics Tech, the more of your memory you can get back, the more of those attention units you can get back, the gain of attention units equals the reduction of the reactive mind.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's right. And so it also goes back to what we were saying too about the dhikr.
Mm-hmm.
I have a musical product called Muslim Praise and Worship. And so when a lot of the Orthodox Muslims, they say that's zikkering,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know what I'm saying? And see what it is that so when you start talking about dhikkering, you're talking about you bring in that that aspect of theta mest theory. See, where you got the theta mest theory is basically, you know, in our terms,
Mm-hmm.
it's the same thing that happens when they say, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Because every time you try, so if you do something and then you're not successful, well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, he said that every experiment is a success, even if you don't do nothing but find out why you fail.
Mm-hmm.
So every time you encounter a situation, then whether you or not you are successful, your mind, whether, you know, either way, your mind is collecting and accumulating data
Mm-hmm.
on that particular situation. And so the next time you encounter or interpolate yourself with this particular thing, then now you have accumulated something else that would aid you in the conquest of this particular situation.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do it enough times, then you overcome it. And so that's the thing, and that is the theory. Part of the theory behind the auditing is that you go over it again. See, because every time you go over it, you know, you accumulate data, and then the auditor prompts you. The auditor nudges you a little bit. He said, and he or she says, contact whatever additional data that you can contact. So at a certain point, you're gonna accumulate enough data to overcome or to erase this engram or erase this lock or secondary that may be existing in the mind. Boy, 10:30.
So
we're gonna need to make this class at least 5 hours.
could I add on to that?
Anyway, very good, Brother Luke Mon. Thank you. See, that's what we need. See, we need to get it from all different angles.
Could I add on to your statement real quick?
Go ahead.
In the handbook for pre-clears,
Okay.
there's 2 questions that are asked. Question number 19 and question number 20. And one's asked, what you describe the inner cycle in a lifetime. And it talks about action, attempt, success, action, failure, which is what you were just talking about.
Right.
Question number 20 says, how is it that failure is an educational building block?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah.
I had to brush off the dust of my handbook for pre-clears.
Oh, that's all right, brother. It look like it's shining to me over there. Praise be to Allah. All right. like James Brown said, go on with your bad self. Anyway, all right. So we're moving right on to 153. Seek assistance through patience and prayer. Surely Allah is with the patient. So the scripture says, in your patience possesses ye your soul. And one thing about it, when you are patient, then, patience is near to being in present time. If you're patient, that usually when you become impatient, the reactive mind is really impinging on you. You see, you can just about bet that. You follow what I'm saying? If you're impatient, you either thinking about something in front of you, or you thinking about something that happened previously. So it says, "Oh, you who believe, seek assistance." So that's where when you go to Allah, you seeking assistance. That we were talking about that yesterday, about help when you need help. The minister was talking about help for the Muslims who are suffering. So when we seek assistance, we are seeking the help of Allah. Oftentimes, when we seek assistance, we want Allah to do it right. I want it right now, Allah. And the Christians got the song, they say that he might not do it when you want it, but he's always right on time. So if you and I are patient, see, it is impatience that taints our thinking due to the tainting of our perception. When you are impatient, it's hard to see things as they are. See, and this is part of the description of the state that we want to be in. We want to be in a state of patience. See, in a state of patience, then you go to what the 23rd Psalm said. He said, he leads me besides the still waters. See, patience is serenity. You're relaxing, you see. And so it says, for Allah is with the patient. So that is saying to me that Allah, that's kind of like his chronic thing, is that he's patient. I remember when the first laborers meeting we had in Chicago was May of 1979. The minister did a lecture called Man Made in Haste. And he was saying that Allah is not in no hurry to do anything. He said Allah, he created the universe, and then they say it took him trillions of years before he put the sun out there. Trillions more years before he put the moon out there, you see. And so we have this thing, especially in this society, because we are living under a man made in haste. And he was talking about the Caucasian, that he was a man that was made in haste because he only had a certain amount of time to live. So he's got to do his thing within these 6,000 years, because the scripture says that in the day of the seventh angel, this mystery of God will be finished, or in the 7,000th year, then Almighty God, Allah, will have declared that the devil's work has already been done, and it's time to move into a new dispensation. So it says Allah, surely Allah is with the patient. Allah is, if you are patient, then this is a way for you to monitor yourself. See, if you are impatient, the more impatient you are, you can consider that you have more distance from Allah, which distance is what we talk about often when we talk about affinity. See, affinity is by definition the tolerance of proximity. So when you become impatient, your impatience is a factor that is actually pushing you away from Allah. See, So it says, so Allah is with the patient. So if you impatient, then you got something blocking the connection between you and the one that ultimately would solve the problem or resolve the problem that you're impatient with. All right. I know you got that, right? By Allah. All right, we'll move on ahead, brother. Unless brothers and sisters. Everybody all right?
Yes,
It
sir.
look like we're doing pretty good. We got about what? We got how many people on? 11 people. That's pretty good. For a pop-up Straightwire session. All right. So page 154 to 157. Would you like to read those, brother Luke Mon? Read from 153 through 157.
Hard trials necessary to establish the truth.
Yes, sir.
O you who believe, seek assistance through patience and prayer. Surely Allah is with the patient. And speak not of those who are slain in Allah's way as dead. Nay, they are alive, but you perceive not. And we shall certainly try you with something of fear and hunger and loss of property and lives and fruits, and give good news to the patient, who when a misfortune befalls them say, surely we are Allah's, and to him we shall return. Those are they on whom are blessings and mercy from their Lord, and those are the followers of the right course.
All right. So the name of that section is something that, we hear a lot in the nation. People saying, hard trials are necessary to establish the truth. And then that's true. When you have hard trials, then, the process of the mind is that you start sifting through all of this stuff that might not be true. And so you know what to keep and you know what to throw out. And so it says that speak not of those who are slain in Allah's way as dead. Nay, they are alive, but you perceive not. So now this is what Mr. Hubbard says when you start talking about life and death and the afterlife and so forth and so on. And we know what we're taught in the Nation of Islam is that, once you're dead, you're dead. But I believe that we're talking about your physical body, that, my name, I'm Brother Bateen. When you plant Brother Bateen in the ground, Brother Bateen is gone. Ain't gonna be no more. Ain't gonna be no more Bateen. Now, so that's my body. And that's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said of the original God. He said the original God created a black body for himself. After a certain period of time, after a certain number of years, that black body died. Mm-hmm. And that original God that was in that body died. He said, but the personage of God moved to other bodies. And the same thing, I believe, based on what really what the Quran says, and actually what the minister says too. Even though he might not have said it directly, that just like the Quran says that the souls of the righteous returns to Allah. And we are asked, and we say, oh Allah, make us die not, lest we die the death of righteous Muslims. And it said, do not die in disbelief. It said, so if you die a righteous Muslim, then Allah has consideration for that entity of you, which is the spirit and the soul and the life force of you. And so the Christians have a thing, they say, to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. And so it says, so speak not of those who are slain in Allah's way as dead, especially if you die trying to deal with Allah, trying to deal with the cause of Islam, that you will certainly return to Allah, the essence of you, the epicenter of you, the core of your being, the core of your reality. However, your body is gone, in a few few months or so, you know, the bugs or whatever is going to deteriorate. You'll never see that again. You know, there's no way that it's going to, you know, like the Christians believe that at the end of time that the trumpet will blow and then everybody's going to come up out of the graves, which we know that is a metaphorical term that just means that at the end of this world that we will come out of the graves of ignorance that this world have put us in. You know, they had the story about Hiram Abiff, who was hit in the head and buried in the northwest corner of the temple. And it's just basically talking about a spiritual resurrection, a mental resurrection, as we are taught in the back page of our paper. And so he said, we'll certainly try you of something of fear and hunger and loss of property. So this is something that we have to understand, and Allah gives us this as a balance. So when we lose things in this world, when we lose possessions, that we don't really let that bother us that much. It says that I read it again. We will try you with something of fear and hunger and loss of property and lives and fruit. But then it says, give good news to the patient. See, because when you start losing stuff and losing people, then that's going to kind of affect your ability to be patient. You know, you get a little anxiety here. You get a little grief. You know, it said, and it said, except it says, give good news to the patient. It says, who, when a misfortune befalls them, they say, surely we are Allah's, and to him we shall return. So this is giving us a perspective, and I guess the way we relating that to the Dianetics and the Scientology is that he's saying that Mr. Hubbard is saying that the spirit, he calls it the thetan, and he also calls it the static, that this spirit, this static is eternal. You know, that it's been around for a long time. It's going to be around eternally, you see. And so don't think that that all is bad when you lose something or when you lose your life. The Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan teaches us that we were talking about when you're dead, that's it. He said part of the reason that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that was because that if we thought that there was another life after death, then many of us would probably give up and not make the most out of the life that Allah has given us. See? All right. All right. So we got and then so go to verse 164. It says, in the creation of the heavens and the earth and the alternation of night and day and the ships that run in the sea and that which profits men and the water that Allah sends down from the sky, then gives therewith to the earth after its death and spreads in it all kinds of animals and the changing of the winds and the clouds made subservient between heaven and earth, there are surely signs for people who understand. And the thing that really kind of got to me, and before we do that, I see you being polite and respectful, brother. I really appreciate that, brother Luke Mons. He's see, this is a soldier. I know a soldier when I see him. See, he's respectful. And see, that's what we need. I'm just gonna stop and teach on that a little bit. See, we have problems as Black people, brothers and sisters. being respectful to each other, And see, when I see something like that, it just really, it makes me feel good because, see, and I think we're going to come to this scripture, look somewhere down the line. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to have time to do it today, but we will publish all of these different scriptures and we'll figure out some kind of way to deal with it. But it says that they talking about the people of the book, talking about us. It said that they did not become divided, until knowledge had come to them out of envy. And see, this is a big problem that we have as Black people. See, I know a little something. Then I run into another person that knows something. But I feel like I got to be here. I got to be on this level, and they got to be on that level. See, this is what has destroyed us. That we cannot complement each other. Now we don't have to agree with everything because we got different viewpoints. I'm going to see things that you don't see. You're going to see things that I don't see, but where we can resolve it through the reality of Allah. See, when we are able to look at things through Allah's perspective. And so I have wanted since the beginning of STW over 3 years ago to be in a position to have someone, who has studied, some of the upper aspects of Scientology to bounce things off. And when they hear, then they can help. And so I just want to say, brother, I really appreciate that, because my thing is, and my wife will tell you, man, I'm free-hearted, sometimes, and I love to see people teach me. You follow what I'm saying? But sometimes we just get this thing, man, where we just want to take over, and then just it's just what we say, and it ain't we want to diminish what somebody else says, and of course this goes back to what we were talking about yesterday when we were talking about the auditor's code. The auditor's code is just it is so beautiful when it comes to dealing with each other. But I appreciate that, brother Luke Mann, but I'm saying before we go to something else, you have the right, to chime in. You follow what I'm saying? See, as long as we all going in the same doggone direction, we not in no competition. It ain't no competition because see, what is for me, it's for me. Can't nobody take it from me. What is for you, it's for you. And if it ain't for me, can't nobody give it to me. It's Allah. That's why we glorify Allah. Because he is the one, he places his message wherever he pleases. And Allah, the minister told us in the early days, the first time that we went out with the Final Call newspaper in May of 1979, he said that Allah have not made even two snowflakes alike. See? So he makes all of us in such a way where we can complement each other. And I just feel real good this morning, everybody. I know it seems like I'm just talking to brother Luke Mann, but we like kindred spirits. Seem like they have met, and we we want to see our people have this knowledge. I want to see, what I mean. So if you got stuff, But it's not only Brother Lukman, it's everybody. Brother Basia, Brother Cordarius, and whoever Raymond Muhammad is. You got Muhammad.
Yeah, Brother Raymond, why don't you let us see your smiling face for a split second, brother? I had to drop some bean pies off the brother yesterday. he's a real strong soldier from number 7.
All praise is due to Allah. Yeah, so, and I'm just saying all of that is that we all can teach each other. And then when we respect, when we have this thing, and see a lot of this stuff, you know, I'm saying it seems like I'm saying it directly to you, Brother Lukman, because I know that if you've been in PDC and all that stuff, I know that you have the background of what we're talking about. When you start talking about structure and function. See, when you understand what structure is, and then you understand what function is, and you understand the relationship, when we understand it, because see, some people are just, they don't see nothing but structure. You know, could be dumb as a doornail, you know, but don't see nothing but structure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but see what we are trying to do, what I see is that we're trying to function, we're trying to carry out a function. The minister did not give us no titles. Matter of fact, hell, he took the damn titles away from us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but he gave us a function. He said, go to the Church of Scientology and get that knowledge and bring it back to your people. So when his will is being done, I have to be happy. And if there's any part of me that's not happy, it needs to be purified. Okay? And that just goes for everybody. So, but I just wanted to say that publicly, brother. And thank you so much, you know, for your humility, you know, because that's a hell of a thing. See, you have to check when you study a lot and you learning a lot, you got to learn how to be humble. Because every time you get a little bit of knowledge in your head, you can say what the hell you want to say. It puffs you up. You can't let this stuff puff you up. Well, you can't help it, really. Now, I'm just going to say that. You can't help it. But what you got to do is you got to check it. See, Allah has given us something to check that puffiness. It's called the self-accusing spirit. See, so yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You know, hell, I get a little puffy every once in a while, man. I get up in the middle of the night, I'm studying, I see something I ain't seen before. I be wanting to scream, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And have done it. You know what I'm saying? And that stuff makes you puffed up. Now, don't get into no damn fantasy land like you can't. Oh well, you know, I don't have ego. Shut up. You know, you got to have ego to move forward, man. The best, you being a musician too, brother, you know, the best musician, you got to have an outgoing ego. You got to believe that you can do this before you really do it. You know, that's part of the axioms too. He said that you got to believe it. He said, you can't even see nothing unless you believe that you can see it. If you don't believe that you can see it, that affects your ability to see and perceive things. So,
question: what was the last ayat you read?
Lord have mercy. It was a 164.
164. Okay.
Yeah, 164. I'm gonna comment on that. Then I'm gonna go back to what Brother Lukman had put in the and I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna make. See, that's what I'm talking about. And then we want to cover that, and then that's what we can do, because sometimes, you know, I get on a roll, and then sometimes I close my eyes and get into Stevie Wonder mode, so I don't see the raised hands or nothing. But but when I come up for air and then I see stuff in the chat, then I know this is things we need to take up. Because if it's a straight wide session, you know, this ain't about me running my mouth. It's about addressing the things that come up in the session, you see? And so you all might not have the HDA certificates, Hubbard Dynetics auditor certificates, but what we're trying to do, we're trying to teach you how to audit on another level. You know, all of the auditing ain't got to come through sitting in a chair back, but see, you are given your training in the Nation of Islam have given you the tools by which you can become supreme auditors, you know. And so so what we were saying, the thing that really got my attention in the creation of the heavens and the earth and the alternations between the night and day. See, everything that we do, brothers and sisters, it's about perception. It's about perceiving things. You know, how your relationship to everything in life starts with a perception. This is the basis of you communicating. See, you know, all right, so he says there's another part in the Quran, and I think I might have been thinking about that when I flagged this particular scripture. It said that in the alternation of the day and the night, verily there are signs for those who reflect. So you got an alternation of the day and the night. So what Allah does is he gives us, and we talked about it a few sessions ago. That's one of my catchphrases here lately. We talked about it a few sessions ago. We talked about how when they want to take a picture of you, say like if they want to take these sophisticated X-rays like MRIs, CT scans, stuff like that, that they give you what they call contrast dye. And so the contrast dye, it when it goes in your blood, and what it does is that it shows up to give a contrast. You know, you'll see the organs, and then you'll see the dye, and then the dye creates a contrast between your organs and your blood flowing. And what that does, it enhances the ability of the physician to diagnose or to perceive what is going on in the body. All right. So the alternation means just to make a contrast. The day is one thing, and then the night is a totally different thing. So by alternating the day and the night, then you get a contrast. In the night, you can appreciate the day more. In the day, you can appreciate the night more. You see? And so that's what happens. Even right now, we are in Ramadan. So you can't eat. Now, you can't eat at 11 o'clock in the morning. You can't eat no what we say in the South, can't eat no breakfast. See? You got to wait till time to break your fast. What this does, this is in contrast to what you and I normally do. We are, even if you eat strictly once every other day, one day, and I see you, Sister Ani, I get you. Even if you eat according to how to eat to live, well then Ramadan gives you a certain contrast by which it sharpens your perception of all things eating, or all things that you abstain from. See, when you abstain from something, whatever it is that you abstain from, you gain a greater appreciation for it. So that's the dynamics of that particular verse. And then back to what brother impatient. Oh man, that's deep. He said imp means devil. Woo. And then he says grave also means a serious problem. To fix a thought in the mind deeply. So that means you got a fixed thought. And that's part of the prison that many of us experience. Is fixed thought. So even if you go to the org and you see people in the org, mainly white folks, but black folks too, they clear. They don't have the reactive mind, but they have the fixed thought that white is better than black. Now you can say what you want to say. Because just like as Brother Lukeman was saying the other day, he was talking about how we got something to give to them, they got something to give to us. When I first went to the org, the guy that was auditing me, and I was telling him, I said, man, I'm glad that we make this hookup, man. He said, because the Church of Scientology's got a whole lot to offer us, and that's why we're here. And then I turned around, I said, yeah, we got a whole lot to offer the Church of Scientology. And you should have saw how he looked at me. He looked at me like, nigga, please. And he was a white boy. So, okay, I see. So we got brother Raymond, so he's quarantined and didn't get dressed for visitors yet. I understand, brother. We glad to have you, brother Raymond. May Allah bless you. And then he says the 264 describes the demo kit of Allah. Won't you tell us a little bit more about that, brother? And then we're gonna let Sister Ania say what she got to say.
Well, if you look at like currently, I'm going through the student hat, and one of the things that's used in the student hat is something called a demo kit.
Right.
And the demo kit it's similar to what we use when we actually go through the Dianetics, the book, that little bowl with the marbles and the things.
Yeah, yes, sir.
And you use certain objects to represent certain concepts, so you can take the concept and see it with mass. So in the student hat, you're taking it up to the next level. You use what's called a demo kit. So whatever the concept is, you're forming it in clay. It's interesting. It's called the clay table formation, I think is what it's called. And it reminds me where Allah said in the Holy Quran that we fashion men from clay. But when I look at creation, I had used that term once before, that when you look at the universe is the demo kit of Allah, meaning Allah teaches us deep wisdom, but he does it through his creation. And we have to study his creation to communicate with him. Because
yes, sir.
Minister Farrakhan said Allah is a scientist and he speaks through the language of formulae.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Yeah, and then so the demo kits are basically tools that help us to make physical analogies.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Of things.
Mm-hmm.
See that? You don't know where I got that from, do you? Anyway. Anyway, Allahu Akbar. Thank you so much, brother. This is what we need. This is what we need. Now, we're a little bit over time, but we got to see what our sister Ania has got to say, because she always says something that's really impactful. Sister Ania, are you that with us, dear? She had her hand raised, looked like it might have got stuck up in there. Okay, all right.
All right. Well, all praise is due to Allah. The first part of what I want to say was just addressed, because I was going to ask Brother Lukman to express more about the demo kit. So that part he just did. All praise is due to Allah. So the second part was when I saw that in the chat about verse 164, it made me go and look at it again more in depth. And so some of the things that I saw there were other parts of the Quran where it says by the even and the odd. So you know that when you talked about the contrast, there are many parts of the Quran where Allah is giving us that contrast, different ways of looking at things, that of things that are actually connected, or things that actually need each other in order to exist or survive. Like in order to have a coin, the coin has two sides.
Yes.
And so as I went through that, and it addressed the ships that run in the sea with that which profits men, and the water that Allah sends down from the sky. Well, if there was no water, then the ships couldn't run in the sea. There has to, so the ships actually need the water. And the whole verse made me think about the human body, about ourselves, and the heavens and the earth being the unseen part of ourselves, the mind and the spirit, and the part of ourselves that we do see, the physical part that carries out the commands that come from the mind and from the spirit. And then it goes on and says that the water that Allah sends down from the sky. So I equated that to, in this instance, I equated it to that which Allah imparts down to us, into us, and it comes down through the spirit and through the mind. And then it gives life to the earth, and we are inspired to do. We come up, we are blessed with ideas, and then we formulate those ideas and put those into action. Okay, so and that's giving life to the earth after its death. And I equated that death to it being in a dormant state, not active, not doing anything, and spreads into it all kinds of animals. Again, all kinds of creativity, and the changing of the winds and the clouds made subservient between heaven and earth. And I saw that changing of the winds as temperament, and the clouds made servient between heaven and earth, and I saw that as the emotional tone scale.
Yes, ma'am.
And being servient as that in how we have to get control of those emotions. And once we're in control of those emotions, then they serve us. But when we're not in control of those emotions, then it causes they take on that destructive nature, and we don't produce good fruit, and whatever we're trying to create doesn't come about, or we're not able to be productive. So I saw that in that, and I thought of the demo kit again of having a little models that help us understand the unseen concepts. And then when I say unseen concepts, I mean things that come up into our mind. And oftentimes, if you're trying to express your thought to a person, they need an example. So I saw
math,
so I saw that in there.
Yes.
And that's why I was going to ask Brother Lukeman to express what he was saying about the demo kit.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Praise. Oh, praise be to Allah. Thank you, my sister.
Oh, and one other part, my third part was, if Brother Lukeman, if you would put in the chat, Brother Batin mentioned yesterday that you have a class or some type of meeting. I don't know if it was a Zoom meeting, or would you put those details in the chat for us, please?
And we will be sending it out too. Did we send it out, Sister Belinda?
Not yet, because I haven't sent out the recording from yesterday.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We'll definitely, he can put it in the
It's in there now.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Cause see that part of the thing we're doing Monday through Friday from at 10, and then we're doing Saturday and Sunday at 5. So we're not gonna go over we might go over these other days, but we're not gonna go over on Sunday, because that's when brothers class gonna start, and we will all defer to what he's saying. And it's just beautiful because everybody kind of got they got their own style. He has his style, I got my style, you know what I mean? And then when I got on his call last week, I was saying, yeah, man, this is what we need, even though it ain't exactly what I'm doing, you know what I mean? But it reflects him, and he's very natural, and he's happy. You can see him happy.
Oh, my tone is, I'm up near 40 right now.
I can bear witness. And so that's what we need, man. The more you see Tone 40, the closer you're gonna get.
Yes, sir. Because
you making calculations. When you see that when the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan saw Brother Malik Saeed, he said, he saw Brother Malik, he said, brother, I want some of that. Whatever that is you got, I want some of it. And so that's how the mind works. See, when you see somebody that's on a high tone scale, that's where your gravitational, your magnetic north, that's where you naturally point. And so if you are falling short, then your mind is calculating, well, how can I get there? And then and so what it is how do you get that? You get that through ARC, Affinity Reality Communication. Go ahead, Brother Lukeman.
I'll just say this briefly. The sister had mentioned the verse that talks about the even and the odd. I won't go into it here, but what I'll do is I'll include it on the Facebook page. But a scientist has made the discovery that there's a certain pattern in the Holy Quran that's based on even and odd numbers. And I'll put together an article and kind of explain it, and I'll put that on the Facebook page.
Beautiful. Beautiful, brother. All right. Well, we're gonna have a little discipline. We're gonna have some discipline. We're going through Ramadan. We got to have discipline. And I could stay here, and looks like everybody else could probably stay here for a while. Maybe we will stretch it on out another, 10 minutes or so. But I don't want us to have to stay here all day on it. But but one thing about this part 2, every year, and I get to part 2, but part 2 got some juice in it. You know what I mean? And we're gonna find that as we go through the various parts, the parts going forward, that all of them have their certain types of juice, and some of them are juicier than others, you know. But I really do believe that since we're using the Dianetics perspective, it allows us to expand our mental reach, the depth. I like to use that, like in photography, they can have this thing called depth perception, you know, being able to see the depth of something. And that's what this microscope that L. Ron Hubbard have given us does. It helps us to look deeper into the teachings, and the more that we believe the teachings, the deeper we can look into it.
Mm-hmm.
See? So it feeds our faith, you know, and then in turn, our faith feeds our understanding of the tools. And when you begin to understand the tools, and then you can tweak, you can do all kind of stuff. But man, I'm happy. I'm a happy person this morning.
This is Straightwire.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah, brother. You know, because like I say, we just have to realize that, you know, just accept your own, be yourself, you know. I can't be you, you can't be me. And that's all right, because it's something Allah is the best knower, you know, and we talked about that yesterday, about knowing. And I know that's one of Sister Denise's pet peeves, and mine too, Sister Denise. You know, how do you know? The scripture said, how would they know except they had a teacher? You see. And the minister and a whole bunch of other folks have very insightful things about what you know. Let's keep on moving. It was saying that where I would like to go right quick is to 2:12. I've got some more stuff before you. Man, this is just so much stuff. We just, you know, we could be on this call for 3 or 4 hours with all of the Dianetics that's in there. Because see, some of the Quran is tell you about stories, and it gives you allegories and so forth and so on. But some of it is, like I said, some of the verses are decisive, some of them are allegorical. And but there was this one thing in 191, it talks about persecution being worse than slaughter. And I remember back in the early 80s going through a situation in the mosque where I had this particular brother who was just it just wasn't nothing I could do right. I couldn't do nothing right for this brother. And I just felt persecuted. And I felt it was a bad feeling. And it talks about persecuting being worse than slaughter. And so a lot of times when people get persecuted, if you are persecuted, think about it now, persecuted, that causes people to go into hiding. And so when you look at the tone scale in full, you will see that if you get slaughtered, then you're at 0.0 on the tone scale. That says your body has died. All right, but below that on the tone scale is 8.0, minus 8.0, which is hiding. So that's what you normally do when you are persecuted. You have to go into hiding. That's what happened when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was put over the nation by the Savior, and then the people in the nation did not want to accept that. They persecuted him, and so he had to go into hiding. So it says that that's worse than slaughter. And so I just thought I would give you that to let you see kind of how that lines up, or how that is related even in the Quran to the emotional tone scale.
Okay, which ayat was that? I can't keep up for some reason.
I'm sorry, that was 191.
191.
Forgive me, as you always do. All right. Go to 2:12. Sister Ania, are you there?
I don't know if she's still on.
Sometimes
Yes,
it
sir.
takes a little while yeah, there she go. I knew she was there. Can you read for us ayat 2:12 to 2:12 to 2:17?
Yes, sir. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The life of this world is made to seem fair to those who disbelieve, and they mock those who believe. And those who keep their duty will be above them on the day of resurrection. And Allah gives to whom He pleases without measure. Mankind is a single nation. So Allah raised prophets as bearers of good news and as warners, and He revealed with them the book with truth, that it might judge between people concerning that in which they differed. And none but the very people who were given it differed about it after clear arguments had come to them, envying one another. So Allah has guided by His will those who believe to the truth about which they differed, and Allah guides whom He pleases to the right path. Or do they think that you will enter the garden while there has not yet befallen you the like of what befell those who have passed away before you? Distress and affliction befell them, and they were shaken violently, so that the messenger and those who believed with them said, when will the help of Allah come? Now surely the help of Allah is nigh. They ask thee as to what they should spend. Say, whatever wealth you spend, it is for the parents and the near of kin and the orphans and the needy and the wayfarer. And whatever good you do, Allah surely is knower of it. Fighting is enjoined on you, though it is disliked by you, and it may be that you dislike a thing while it is good for you, and it may be that you love a thing while it is evil for you, and Allah knows while you know not.
That's good right there, sister. That's good. Thank you, sister. I just wanted to say, it says that in 2:12, it says, the life of this world is made to seem fair to those who disbelieve, and they mock those who believe. And what I was going to bring in about that is that if the life of this world, if you don't believe, if you are not anchored, see, your belief anchors you. It gives you an anchor. It gives you a reference point for your thinking. If you don't have a reference point, then it's easy for you to make excuses or to try to justify things or have what Mr. Hubbard calls a service facsimile, or as the minister says, deceptive intelligence. Okay, so that 2:12 is that. All right, and then 2:13, that's what we were talking about earlier. I wanted to try to find it then, but I had gotten a little emotional. Was what the thing about, they were saying that the people that the knowledge came to, they was all right until they got knowledge. Then they got envious. you see. And it says that Allah has guided by his will those who believe in the truth about which they differ. And Allah guides whom he pleases on the right path. See, so all of us are gonna have differences. I have differences with my wife. She has differences with me. We all have differences. But we pray to Allah that he would guide us, to the truth. See, the truth is the reality of Allah. See, if I differ with you, it's something in my universe that's different than what's in your universe. It's something in your universe that's different. But when we engage in the truth, then Allah guides whom he pleases on the right path. Okay? And then it says, or do you think that you will enter the garden while there has not befallen you the like of that what befell those who have passed away? So it's basically saying that this is we're gonna be tried, and every time we talk about trials, the mechanism of a trial, it can be found, or at least part of the mechanism. Whenever I say I'm always talking about part. I'm not talking about absolute nothing. But part of the mechanism can be found in the theta mest theory. See, in other words, Allah puts us in this trial, and he may give us something that may be seemingly too steep of a gradient, but every time you fail, then the data that you are accumulating from the encounter or the interbulation with that which you're trying to deal with, it accumulates to the point to where you can overcome it, whatever it is that you're trying to do. So if Allah is gonna give us the kingdom, he's not gonna just give it to us on a silver platter. He wants to give it to us in such a way where it will be impressed on our minds and our being, that we would appreciate. There's that alternation of the day and the night again. That's that contrast again. He wants to try you. Why? So what does the trial do? The trial, it enhances your perception of reality, of what you're being tried with. And so that's why, like it said you're going to be tried or something to fear and all that stuff. It said, but give good news to the patient. Because all of this stuff is good. It's all good. There's another part in the Quran that talks about, it says that I have made for you an enemy in every town, but I control him. See, so now we looking into the playbook of Allah. We're looking into the game plan of Allah. We're looking into the scheme of Allah, which Allah, he don't have cheap games. He don't have shyster schemes, but he has the highest of games and the highest and intricate and beautiful of schemes. All right. All right. So then you go to actually to 2:16. 2:16 goes into describing to us our condition on a certain level. It says that fighting is enjoying, but you don't like it. Then it says that it may be that you love a thing that is evil for you. You dislike a thing that is good. So now what kind of condition is that? You like something, you like something that's evil. You dislike something that's good. So that means it's something in our thinking that ain't straight. So that is a description of aberration, as we are taught in Dianetics. That aberration is just not thinking straight. Or you could really say, and I think with an astounding degree of accuracy, that aberration is just plain old craziness. Now he gives you the clinical, clean definition. You know what I mean? But hey, it's just crazy. All right. And then so he goes back in 2:17, he says, persecution is worse than slaughter. And so I noticed brother yes, there's a jewel in two. You want to elaborate on what you had got in the chat, brother Luke Munn? And
Yes,
we're gonna go on and close this thing on out.
in 2:12 it says and those who keep their duty will be above them on the day of resurrection. Be above them. Now the
Okay.
Arabic word is fawqahum. Fawqahum is the root word. And again, I take my definitions straight from an Arabic dictionary. I don't add in or take anything. I just take it straight from the dictionary. So those that are above them in Arabic is fawqahum, and one of the or some of the words that means is, it means to remember, to restore to consciousness, or to clear.
Yeah. Is it this dictionary?
I use this one.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have that back when the imam first came in. Everybody had those then. I got to get another one. Yes, sir.
But those that are above them, and when you clear the word in Arabic, one of the meanings is to restore to consciousness or to clear.
Yes, sir. Praises be to Allah. All right. Well, thank you, brother Luke Mon. And is there anyone that has anything that they would like to say? We hadn't heard from my dear sister Tina today. That don't mean you got to say nothing, sister, but I'm just noticing.
Yes, sir. Well, there's just one thing, and I'm going to do some more. Well, I thank both of you for all of this. I wrote it down so that I can go back and look at it some more. But there's just one, well, there's two verses that I want to go back and study. But I'm just trying to find the verse that made me think of the 8 dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2:164, the one you was talking about, Brother Bettine. It made me reflect on the 8 dynamics.
Okay.
And so I'm going to go back to that, and I'm going to find the 8 dynamics in the way that I perceive it, because Allah is interested in all of that. And as on our journey to Allah, to be one with Allah, we should be interested in all of that, as it says in the handbook for pre-clears. So, yes, that's all I have to say.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm going to go back and look at that too. And there are a whole bunch of other scriptures that I got. We're gonna publish it. We're gonna publish all of these, and inshallah, we got a new Facebook page too. The Supreme Technology Workshop, and we're trying to get as many people to come on as possible to share with this month during this month of Ramadan. It's a perfect time, And man, I don't know about you, but this just feels wonderful to me to be talking about the Quran. We don't, usually I read the Quran and I read it, but it doesn't. It's made more of an impression this time, just going over these verses. And there are a few verses that we did not cover that I had noted. So we're going to go ahead on and close this session on out. We don't. I want to.
Brother Batin,
Yes.
I just had a quick question. The comment that my beloved sister Tina just made me. I don't know, when she said that about the 8 dynamics, my mind automatically went to the part in the Quran where it says that 8 will bear that day thy Lord's throne of power. And so just any feedback, if any of you have ever thought about that, if that's possibly what it could refer to in any way.
What is the scripture again, dear sister?
I don't have the exact reference for it offhand, but it says 8 that day will bear thy Lord's throne of power.
That Bible or Quran or?
In the Holy Quran.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, maybe we'll find we can find it. Let's see here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't find anything in mine. I got a PDF of the Maulana Muhammad Ali.
6917.
Huh?
6917.
That sounds about right.
All right, now we
That's it.
yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Well, somebody want to read? You want to read it, Belinda?
And the angels will be on its sides, and above them 8 will bear that day thy Lord's throne of power. Is that the one, sister?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And the angels will be on its sides. And above them 8 will bear that day thy Lord's throne of power. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly something to ponder and to consider. Thank you again, Sister Ania. And unless somebody I don't have anything for that. I mean, I don't have any, except it says that the angels. So I guess he's talking about. It seems like it may be talking about 8 angels. And then, like you say, the eight angles, there's so many ways that you can look at it. Could be angels that are produced from the 8 dynamics. Angel, the angelic reality that's based on the 8 dynamics. So I that seems to at least come into the neighborhood of congruency to what Sister said. So
I guess to give that verse a little bit more mass, the verse before and after that says, so verse 16 through 18 reads, and the heaven will be cleft asunder so that it will be frail, and the angels will be on its sides, and above them 8 will bear that day thy Lord's throne of power. On that day you will be exposed to view. No secret of yours will remain hidden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's what I would say though. I would say that it could be that, and matter of fact, it could be. I'm sure that there are more views of it, but it's talking about the angels. It said the angels will be on its sides, and above them 8. So what is the 8 referring to? It's based on the sentence structure, and it seems like that the 8 is referring to 8 angels. And so when you start talking about the 8 dynamics, then there are angels. See, all of these dynamics have an angelic and a demonic influence, you see, on all of the different dynamics. You got angels and devils on all of the different dynamics. So that's something, that's something to ponder. And next time, if anyone has anything to say about that, we can definitely double back to explore it further. So all praise is due to Allah. We thank you. Thank everybody. We're going to just give us a minute or two. We're trying to get this this Facebook page going. I had created a new page this morning. Then my wife discovered one that I had created in 2018. And so anyway, we'll try to get some information up there, and then we will make sure that we put brother Lukeman's group. If you want to give us a little flyer or something, if you have something like that, brother Lukeman, give us that, and we'll do that. And then what we're gonna be trying to promote this session here. The Quranic, whatever this is, Quranic. We say Quranic Straightwire.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that might be. Yeah, that sounds good. The Quranic Straightwire, and so we will definitely do that. And thank you again, brother Lukeman, and thank you everybody for your participation today. And I've enjoyed myself, enjoyed going through this, and I'm reading, just like when I'm reading the Quran now, man, I might read the Quran twice before the end of the month, the rate I'm going. Just looking at it in this context, because see, when you focus your attention on this particular perspective and context, then you begin to extract things. See, this perspective is an expanding type of perspective where it's easier to expand on things. And so thank you everybody for your participation. I see Sister Jacqueline has left, so we'll just do a real brief end of session list here. So just give yourself just a moment to prepare. We're gonna do a little end of session action here. Okay. All right. So now we will begin. All right. If you would, put your attention up on the ceiling in the room you're in. Thank you. Now put your attention on the floor. Thank you. Put your attention on the wall to your right. Thank you. Put your attention on the wall to your left. Thank you. Put your attention 3 feet in front of you. Thank you. Put your attention without turning your head 3 feet in the back of you. Thank you. Now think of a pleasant thought, maybe a birthday, maybe the beach, driving on a nice afternoon, a good meal, or maybe you can think about iftar this evening when you break that fast. So we know that's a pleasure moment.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. So may Allah continue to bless each and every one of you. I would like to ask Brother Luqman if he would close us out in prayer.
Yes, sir. Attention prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. Master of the day of judgment in which we now live, thee alone do we serve, thine aid do we seek. Please, Allah, guide us on the straight path, the path upon whom thou hast bestowed favors, and not the path upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor of those who go astray if they have heard thy teaching. Ameen.
Ameen. And we, inshallah, we will have the recording. We'll have this recording up, and you may want to visit Supreme Technology Workshop on the on Facebook, and I guess join the group. It's going to be like a private group, sort of like Brother Luqman's group. Join his group too. I'm sure they invited to join your group too, right, brother?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm coming to join.
Join his group, because you know we all, man, we trying to do the same thing. We trying to end up in the same place, which is the highest part of the hereafter.
Yes, sir.
You see, and so just give us a minute or two to kind of get this page together, but we'll try to make it real pretty, and inshallah we'll do some good. You know, Mr. Hubbard said you want to do the most amount of good to the most amount of people.
Yes, sir.
So may Allah continue to bless you all. Man, I'm feeling good.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Feel
sir.
like go and get me a drink of water. No, not yet. It ain't quite as bad as it was yesterday. But thank you all. Thank you, Brother Luqman.
Thank you.
And inshallah, you know, maybe we'll talk when we talk. But
hey, I'm here all day today, so I ain't got nothing planned.
Okay, all right. Well, I may bug you out a little bit later on today. All right. Love you, man.
Love you too, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. So may Allah bless you. We'll talk to you soon, inshallah.
All right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wow, sir.